Alrighty, good to be back at home this week, and great team. Great team we're playing against this week. A lot of players, on their defense who have played a lot of football in this league and had a lot of success, and proven what they're capable of. So, it's a challenge. We got to prepare well. We got to play well. We got to execute, and we got to have a great week leading up to the game. So, that's where we're at right now. Take any questions you have.
Every defensive line's tough in the NFL, but you guys have quite the run here with these last few games. What do you think of the Rams right now in their front?
Yeah, it's a great front. I mean, I think Leonard Floyd has 11 sacks. I think Von Miller, is a gold jacket waiting to happen, and Aaron Donald is obviously special, and they've got several players. They've got great depth. They've got good players in every level of the defense, and it's well coached too. Raheem Morris knows what he's doing. So, it's a good group. I think they're number 1 in the league last year. So, we understand that challenge.
Kirk, you had a career low yards passing as a starter the other night. How do you evaluate your performance in Chicago looking at the film? I mean, Coach talked about, he said you had some tough moments with the pressure. How do you kind of evaluate it, and what do you need to do to now move forward?
It was a tough look, but with the amount of 2 deep they played, we had to check the ball down quite a bit when we did, try to throw it, and they did have a great rush. We got a lot of yards on penalties, and so you're always going to kind of have those hidden yards when you have those penalties, whether it's personal fouls or the hit on Tyler Conklin down the middle. So we'll take those penalties. They helped us on some of those drives to score, but at the same time, it's not going to show then in the production. So, we had our moments, and then we really didn't get anything done in the 2-minute at the end of the half. A lot of times that's where you can make some hay from a yardage standpoint, and we had the interception, and then at the end of the game, we were really just trying to run the clock and weren't in an aggressive mode either. So it sometimes just goes back to playing the game that was called, and playing the game you needed to play to win. And, if that means there's not going to be as much offensive production, you'll obviously take that any day to be able to get the win.
What's your memory of the last time you played them, and you did a great game, but then the way Aaron Donald took over those key moments at the end?
Yeah, I remember there were a lot of points scored on both sides, a lot of yardage. Ball was getting moved up and down the field, and we just kind of came up a drive short, a play short. But similar to now, great defense that can give you trouble, and you've got to be aware of obviously where Aaron is, and also hopefully not put him in a position where he's kind of playing with the wind at his back, which is rushing, being able to rush and kind of pin his ears back.
I think that last sack with like 2 minutes left or whatever, he kind of spun you down. I mean, he was in so quick. Did you even have a chance to see him? And what sets him apart? Is it the quickness in addition to the all the other things he has?
I would guess it's the total package. I think his ability to play with the speed and the power, the combination is probably what has made him such a great player for so many seasons.
Just to follow up what I was going to ask you, I know you've won each of the last 2 games, but you've had 2 sub-70 passer rating performances in a row. Do you feel December football playoff berth in line, you need to maybe step up your play now after the last 2 games, or what?
Obviously winning is where we're most importantly focused. So like you said, that's really positive. We won the last 2 games. I think that you're always, no matter what the result is, win, loss, statistics that look good, statistics that don't look good, I think you're always going back and being really critical and saying, how can I play better? What were the plays that I needed to be better on? And you really don't change based on the outcome or based on a certain production level. You're always trying to learn from it, be critical, and so you kind of feel that regardless if it's December, late in the season, September, early, you really kind of be consistent is really what I'm trying to be day in and day out, week in and week out. Just be real consistent with how I come away from games and go into the next one.
How similar is what they're running with Raheem Morris to what they did with Brandon Staley, or maybe even what you saw the Chargers doing in terms of the deep shells and trying to take things away downfield?
Yeah, I think there are elements that are similar. I think Raheem has done so much in his career that he has the ability to be multiple. But they had so much success last year too, and so I think there's a lot of merit for them to have stayed with that. But knowing, having been with Raheem and knowing how much he pays attention to the offensive side of the ball, and he's coached the offensive side of the ball, I think he can be very multiple, and he's certainly not going to get blinders on and say, we're going to do this and this only, and get stubborn about it. He's going to be open-minded and creative and do what he feels is their best chance to be successful.
Are you seeing more too high looks than usual? And I guess what adjustments can be made to make sure that just simply showing that look doesn't neutralize the passing game?
Well, whenever you play true too deep, obviously the running game, because they're, a man short in the box. You got a 7-man box and an 8-man box. So, you got to believe that you can run the football. You got to have productive runs. That's really where it starts, and it's really why teams are hesitant to go play too deep, because to just run the ball at somebody, can be a tough way to go about it as a defense. So that's the first thing, and then obviously you got to be working, the right concepts against those coverages to be able to attack it, and so we just got to have a good plan, when we see those coverages. But teams will disguise, teams will mix it up just enough so that you can't really truly rely on it.
Does it seem like that kind of too high stuff give you the 4 yards carries and let you, see if you can do that for 75 yards? Does it seem like that's gotten more popular in the league since you first came in?
I don't know. I think that preventing explosives will always be a focus of a defense. How do we prevent explosives and make you kind of earn it play by play? So that's been a big part of defensive football for a long time. I do think that teams don't want to let you run the football because it is a much easier way to move the football and a lot less risk. So I think it's hard for defenses to feel like they're allowing you to do that. So I guess those are some thoughts there.
If you guys get Adam back on Sunday, how much does that change things for you, just knowing you have him out there as you go through your progressions?
I mean, Adam's been such a great player for us for as long as I've been here, and we have so many reps together, and so when he's out there, it just enables you to really feel comfortable knowing how smart of a player he is, how experienced he is, and how many things we've been through together. And so it's more, my focus is more not on if he's out there, it's if he's not. That's how I prepare, is getting myself and everybody else ready for if he's not. Obviously, if he is, you have enough experience together that you lean on that then.
When you have the full breadth of your weapons, do you notice are teams playing less too high in those situations or more, or does it matter?
I think it's honestly come down more maybe to the team we're playing, because I think the Bears did it probably the level they did because of how young their secondary was and the players that were out. So it's probably more focus on them. I think the other teams we played that have done it also is probably they felt that it was a younger secondary, and it doesn't ask quite as much of your corners when it comes to covering man to man and that kind of a thing. So that's just one piece of it, but certainly you can play too deep to try to take away a receiver or a group of receivers, certainly.
I believe you were on Pat Pete's podcast earlier this year. Is that correct?
On whose podcast?
Patrick Peterson.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What do you think of his podcast? And you think he's got a future as a broadcaster if that's what he wants to do?
Oh, I'm sure Pat can do whatever he wants. Yeah, I mean he's a sharp guy. He knows his stuff. Knows football, but knows a lot about a lot of other things too. And I'm sure he has a bright future doing that if that's what he wants to do.
If I can ask you one off-field question, with you and Julie partnering with People Serving People, again, just kind of what have you guys liked about working with that organization, and why is it especially important to you kind of around the holiday season to give them a Christmas?
Yeah, I think the chance to bless somebody's Christmas and really provide the type of Christmas that really everyone should be able to experience, I think is important. Julie and I care about that, and we believe it's more blessed to give than to receive, and so when you watch the joy on people's faces when you give, you get to live that out.
How do you go about setting your protection? Now I have Von Miller and Aaron Donald. I'm sure they're probably on separate sides.
Yeah, and Leonard Floyd too has done a great job. You really just follow your rules. Your which will change based on how they line up and their techniques, their front. So we've got to communicate well and make sure we're targeted the right people, and then understand that sometimes they've got you and they're bringing more from one side than you can block, and that's where you got to be ready to get rid of the ball and know your hot route and all those things. So, you just have to be ready to, target it right and play fast and then make good decisions.
You look for Donovan to move around, kind of look for weaknesses.
I think they're going to try to get him in the best matchups they can, and we'll have to, be ready to react accordingly. Alrighty.